now it's time for a test drive. So across the street is an industrial building, and so I go across the street with a vehicle, down a road, through a parking lot, and took a right and came back. Maybe 500 yards,
it
maybe
was like
quarter mile.
It was
would
like,
really be pushing it.
Would really be pushing it like once around a school track.
I didn't go anywhere you couldn't hit me with a rock from where we started. So that is.
And that was it. That was all we did for a test drive.
Right, but
Hi, I'm Lynn,
and I'm Jeff.
and we are catching air,
Catching air.
and I feel like we're yelling. So I apologize if we're yelling, but there's a lot of road noise in here, and it's raining, and I don't know. I feel like the audio is not very good.
Well, obviously, we purchased the Airstream. But you can see that we're sitting here driving it.
Right, and there it is in all its glory behind us. 1985 at its best.
Yep, I think we purchased it long before we got on that airplane. Short of a no-show, we were buying it.
Yeah, we knew when we booked those flights that we were taking this thing home. Whether we had to drive it or tow it.
Or a combination of both. But this is how the day unfolded.
So up bright and early, off to the airport. Not a big line at Boutique Airlines, considering there was only 8 people flying that day.
8 people on the plane.
Yeah, so it was clear that our idea of a little Piper was coming to fruition. Very interested in our weight, and
Wait, not only they weigh the luggage, they weighed all of our purses and backpacks, and they wanted to know how much each of us weighed. And they did the math, and they assigned us all seats based on how much we weighed so that it was evenly distributed.
Right. So eventually get into the airport and load us up in a van, off down the runway. The pilot meets us there and starts boarding us based on our seat numbers, based on our weight. Of course, I'm a big guy, so I'm going to be over the wings, so load me last. But, of course, we get on the plane. By the time I get on, people didn't understand the seat numbers, and everything was
They
wrong.
weren't following the rules.
Yeah.
There were rules. Everyone was supposed to be in assigned seats based on weight, and it was a free-for-all.
Yes.
Everyone just sat wherever they wanted. So
And they weren't all that interested in correcting the problem. So
no one cared.
So off we go. We fly off up over a mountain range, over a mesa, in about 20-25 minutes of pure desert. Beautiful countryside,
Beautiful.
Not many roads, so we're off to Nowhereville.
But it was a spectacular day.
It
Beautiful blue sky,
Yep.
great views the whole ride. It was awesome.
Yeah, the tarmac was 105, so it was a warm day down in the valley. So then, like they said, they were going to have the awnings out, so we were very anxious when we got to the airport. And on approach, they had to kind of circle the airport and then land. The only visibility to that side was Lynn's side of the airplane, and sure enough, we saw a little.
When he told us that he was going to pick us up in the Airstream, he was going to bring it to the airport, and he was going to park it, and he was going to have the thing all set up with the awnings. We kind of laughed, didn't really think he was serious, but he was serious, because as we pulled in for landing, I looked out the window, and there it was, all set up, awnings out, gleaming in the sunlight.
Right. His pastor runs the airport, so that's the size of the airport we're talking
God, it was
about.
so small.
So, but yep, landed. Great flight. Get off and through the gateway.
There is no gate. You just walk in the door.
Right. Yeah, but no. As far as looking for the chain link fence, you could see the Airstream on the other side. Went to the terminal we go, and he is standing right there, and it's obvious who he is.
It not only that, but at this point, we're like, yes! Touchdown! He's here, and the vehicle's there.
All
Freaking Hallelujah!
All systems go.
He showed up.
Right,
He
exactly.
was there, and it looked exactly like it did in the picture.
Right, and he kind of fit the bill too, you know? Hippie type, really salt of the earth, very nice, very personable. What did not feel like a business transaction, and so we sat there and we chatted for a few minutes. He mentioned the guy that offloaded our luggage was his pastor, so we got to meet him.
It's a really small town.
Yeah, a small airport. Sholo is a very small airport. So then we walk out to the. So he escorts us out, and what did he say?
His wife is there. Super nice.
Right.
And as we're walking out the door, he says to us, "Now slow down, slow down. Just take it all in. Just look at her. Just take it all in." It was obvious that this was more than just an RV to him.
Correct.
It's in spectacular shape.
It is.
It's pretty spectacular.
It is.
I hate to
I know.
my own horn,
No,
but
I know,
oh my
but-
God, it's like immaculate.
pretty immaculate.
We were this excited. We're still excited.
We're sad.
sad.
Like I say, I'm saving America one vehicle at a time. I just can't save this one without an inside storage. You got an inside place to put it.
Yep, put it aside. Yep.
No.
Oh my gosh, it's so fabulous.
It is pretty fabulous.
So I think he restores like motorcycles and vintage cars, and
Right.
this was one of his projects.
Right. So he didn't want us ripping this thing apart, painting it, and and modernizing it. He was very interested in us preserving it. And at every step we got closer to the vehicle, we realized that our expectations were high, but every step closer to it, we realized it was more than what we had even expected. And we kind of expected a lot because we had talked to the sellers quite a few times. So very pleasant.
Yeah, and at this point, once we get to the RV and we start to look around, Jeff and I didn't care if the whole interior was gutted. The exterior was so nice and in such great shape. Again, it was a total touchdown. We were like, yep, we don't even care if there's just a driver's seat in it. We're taking it.
Right. So awesome people, having a great time. We're completely screwing up the whole filming of this experience. Obviously, we would have all sorts of footage for you. Although we had the camera rolling the entire time, I think it was 2 or 3 inches away from the things that he was explaining to us and not necessarily capturing the big picture.
Yeah, which is why we're kind of,
Telling the story
and filling in with video, because in a perfect world, we would have complete footage of all of this, but in just all of the excitement, and he was going over all the mechanics of it, and, the video was running, but we were, filming a lot of floor shots and ceiling shots and mechanical shots, and didn't realize till, we got halfway home, like, shoot, we didn't get any video of that day.
And plus he had known that we really needed to get on the road that day, so I think we allotted maybe 20 minutes for figuring out how to run the vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay, where is the rod?
Under the chair.
I know. I hope you don't mind if you're on video.
I don't care. I'm on you. And then this is the... Here's all the hoses. You know about that, right?
Yep.
We got hoses and adapters up the wazoo. This is a...
Yep, that's the snake for the keeping it.
Yeah, that'll keep it going down.
One thing I told her is this hose right here, if you follow it, it has a turn-off valve. If you don't have it turned off and you...
So, getting the tour, learning a lot about the vehicle. Obviously, there's more to know than we're going to get in 20 minutes. Now it's time for a test drive. So,
of course, there's no video of the test drive, which in my mind, leading up to this trip, I was like, okay, I'm going to video this, and and I want to make sure that I get him driving it for the first time. Do you think we got that video? No, there's no video of him driving it for the first time.
Yeah, we have a lot of learning to do on that piece. So across the street is an industrial building, and so I go across the street with the vehicle, down a road, through a parking lot, and took a right and came back. Maybe 500 yards,
It
maybe
was like
quarter of a
lap.
quarter mile
It was
would
like
really
that.
be pushing it.
Would really be pushing it like once around a school track.
I didn't go anywhere you couldn't hit me with a rock from where we started. So that is
And that was it. That was all we did for a test drive.
right. But the vehicle was nice. The wheel is a little kind of
Crooked.
loosey goosey.
It's crooked. The
Yeah,
wheel is
yeah.
crooked.
And but what made me feel okay is they felt okay. They thought watching me drive this thing that I knew what I was doing. So, you know, whether I did or I didn't, I felt better that they thought I could pull this off. So now we can move on to the last phase, which is the transaction.
Yeah.
So we go in the vehicle.
Well, we still have all of the cash in our what
Right.
are those things called? The necklace things? I don't know. Passport holder things?
Yeah.
Anyways, he has one, I have one, loaded with cash underneath our shirts that we have slept with, hasn't left our bodies in 24 hours. Thanks to my great idea, which in hindsight was completely ridiculous and over the top.
Yeah,
But
maybe it got there. It's a Craigslist deal, so cash on the barrelhead. Yeah, so so we get in there. We start working the title, get the title done, and then with the cash transaction. So we laid out all the cash. We had it kind of sub-bundled, so it would be easy to count. So she counts it, and she goes, "Yeah, it looks right." He goes, "Looks right." Are you gonna count it? Gosh. So at that point, we signed off on the title, and we were good to go. I think at this point, that because the day was coming to the end, we were moving on. I think I get a sense from them that they were really going to miss this vehicle, and it did mean a lot to them. And although they were very glad to see where it was going, and we kind of had a connection there, I think there was a certain separation that they were doing, because as we drove away, we could see them. They waited until we drove away, you know.
I know. It kind of makes me sad when we talk about it
Yeah.
because, it was obvious that they really loved this, and I think, for whatever reasons, they needed to sell it,
Right.
but there was that part of them that didn't want to sell it, and so when we finally parted ways and they left the Airstream and got into their truck, and then we were in the Airstream getting ready to pull out, they just sort of like drove alongside us, almost like they just couldn't let it go.
Yeah.
So
And then finally took a right, and we headed on down the road.
So now we are proud owners of a 345 1985 Airstream. We're in the desert. We're a pretty long way from home. We're on the other side of the country. And when we asked the prior owners which way we should head, they pointed down a long road. It says 40 miles to the interstate, Walmart on the right.
that way. So of course, like all good RVers do, we headed to the Walmart because you need supplies.
Gotta eat.
We got to have sheets to sleep on. So off to the Walmart we went and started our long journey home, which we will soon find out was a very long journey home. So stay tuned for our next video and the road trip home.
See you then.